This lesson is on section 7-4, the percent equation. So first let's go over some math language. So the word is, please remember that means equal sign. And the word of, please remember that means multiplication sign or to multiply. So is means equal, of means multiply. So my first equation says 600 is what percent of 750? So let's highlight some of the key things I need to remember here. So I have the number 600 is, I'm going to remember means equal sign, so I'm going to put equals on top. What percent? So the what percent, that's going to be my variable. So I'm going to just put the letter X here. Of, that means times, and then 750. So I'm going to write this 600 is equals what percent? I'll put a variable X of multiply 750. So then I have to think about what's the opposite of multiplication, or what's the opposite of the sign that I'm using here. The opposite of multiplication is division. My goal is to get my variable X by itself. So all I'm doing is dividing both sides by 750. So X is going to be 80 or 0.80 or 80%. So you can just use your calculator to type in 600 divided by 750 and you're going to get 0.8 or 8 tenths or 80 hundredths, which is 80%. My next example says 45 is 90% of what number? So again, 45 is means equals, 90% of means times, what number? That's going to be my variable. So 45 is 90%, and I'm going to write 90% as a decimal. So I know I have to, in order to make a percent into the decimal, I have to move the decimal 2 spots over. So it's going to be 0.90 or 0.9. Of means times, what number is my variable? So I'm going to solve this very similar to the last one. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to just divide both sides by 0.90 or 0.9. All you have to do is type that into your calculator. And then you're going to get X is going to equal 50. So 50 is 90% of, 45 is 90% of what number? That number is 50. Example 3, what percent of 2,000 is 8? So again, what percent? So that's what I'm solving for. That's my variable X. Of is going to mean times. 2,000 is going to mean equal sign, and then 8. So what percent? So that's my variable X. Of means times. 2,000 is equal sign 8. Again, the opposite of multiplication is division. My goal is to get X by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2,000. So I'm going to type in my calculator, divided by 2,000. And that's going to be 4 thousandths. Okay, so it's 0.004. And then again, the question is asking for percent, so I have to change my decimal to a percent. I have to move it 2 spots over. So that's going to equal 0.4%. Now my last example says, if John has $45 and spends $15, what percent of his money did he keep? All right, so the first thing I have to do is figure out how much money did he spend. So it says, if John has $45 and spends 15, so he spends 15, he had 45. So if I did 45 minus 15, that means he has $30. He kept $30. Okay, so he kept $30 out of the $45 that he had, and that's going to figure out our percent. So he kept $30 out of the $45 that he had. Again, I figured out how much did he kept by subtracting 45, the money he had, minus the money that he spent to get $30. And he has $45, so I'm going to type into my calculator 30 divided by 45, which is going to be 0.6 repeating. Okay, and you can round that off to about 67%. That brings me to the end of this lesson. Thanks for watching.